Let's take a nice deep inhale and exhale it out. Welcome to Stress Release Yoga. The breath is a really powerful tool for releasing out stress. It's always with us. May not always be appropriate to take such big, loud breaths, but you can focus your mind on your breath. And imagine that breath releasing out your stress and tension. So the great thing about yoga is that it's adaptable to your day, to where you are. So the deeper practice of yoga is meditation, and as we all know, anybody who's tried it, it's not so easy to really sit still, to quiet our minds. We've got so much going on. So the physical practice is really part of releasing out that stress and tension so we can get into that quieter place where we can calm our minds down. So even in your workplace, standing in line in the grocery store, any place at all, you can have these little moments of just following your breath, letting your shoulders relax down. In the car too, when you're in traffic, right, it can be just so aggravating. So just trying to recenter your mind onto your breath and release it out. So ultimately, yoga is mastery of the mind, that so much of our suffering comes just from our thoughts, like how we're thinking about the situation. Like, okay, I'm aggravated, I'm in this car, but I have control over just changing that thought about here I am in this present moment. Like how lucky I am just to be here breathing in this moment. Not quite that easy, but that's what we're practicing for. So you can really adapt your yoga practice in any way that you need in any given moment. And that's really what this practice is about, is helping us in our daily lives to be happier. So it's not just this moment, it's not just about the physical body, it's really about this deeper sense of happiness. All right, let's stretch our arms up overhead. And just notice how you are in this moment. So how quickly do you feel like you want to move today? How slowly do you want to move? It can be very difficult to slow down. All right, grab hold of your right wrist. We're going to lift up, then we're going to tip it to the side. So in this concept of having control over our minds, it's also how we think about moving our bodies in this physical practice. So if we're thinking, oh yeah, I need to move faster, it can be very aggravating to be slow. So that's part of gaining mastery of the mind. All right, we're going to come back to center. It's just to really be here in this moment and embrace it. There's so much benefit to slowing down. All right, let's let the hands come down behind us, interlace fingers together behind the back. Pull your hands down towards the floor, feeling what's going on there. Is it tight? Is it loose? What are you feeling? So having the consciousness of what we're feeling and what we're thinking. So much of our thinking is just automatic. In yoga, we're really working on the awareness of our thoughts. So arms back up overhead. Grab hold of your left wrist. We're going to lift up and we're going to tip it to the right side. Take a breath. Observe what you're feeling here. And then come back to center. Release the hands down. Interlace fingers behind your back again. Pull those hands down towards the floor. Head can tip forward. Big breath. So these simple arm stretches are, again, something you can do. Okay, might be a little weird while you're standing in line in the supermarket, but you can do it. Who's going to stop you? Nobody's going to complain for stretching your arms up. All right, bring your arms back up overhead. You can also do this at your desk, right? So again, just kind of shifting that energy a little bit during the day when we're really aggravated, but maybe it's not a good time to get up. Just bringing your arms up, doing that little stretch, taking the hands behind you. You can tip forward a little bit in your chair. So really incorporating yoga into your day will help to, especially if you're working on a meditation practice, it'll help to move your mind in that direction. All right, come on out onto hands and knees. We're going to sit back into a child's pose. Bring your hips down towards your heels. Let your head come down. Nice full breath. Observe what you're feeling here. Become conscious of the places that you need to take care of yourself. It may just be that you need to recenter, you need to reconnect with your inner self. Let go of the outside world. And there may be spots in the body that really need a little extra care. We're going to ease out onto our abdomens. Just make your way down. We're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So resting on the lower arms. Walk your legs back a little bit. If your low back hurts in Sphinx, try taking your feet a little bit wider or stay a little bit lower with the body. So just kind of wiggle your way around until you feel like you're in a pretty good spot. Use your breath. So again, you can be low in Sphinx pose. You can be a little bit high. We're working on letting that whole lower body relax. Breathe it out. So even if you think that your stress isn't high, there's almost always some stress lurking around in the body. All right, we're going to bring it into a cat pose. So slide your hands down a little bit lower. We're going to press into those hands, come up onto the knees. Knees might walk in a little bit towards your hands. And we're just going to round into a cat, abdomen in. Pulling that spine up towards the ceiling, just rounding the spine. Again, observe what you're feeling here. And then we're going to lower back down into a Sphinx pose. So you might just come down onto one elbow and then the other, and then walk your knees back a bit, ease your hips down. Come back into a Sphinx. Then just see how it is this time. Is it any looser? Can you pull your chest forward a little bit more? Maybe look up a little bit more here. Still trying to keep it soft and easy. Feeling the breath. And then how does the breath change the pose? So as you exhale, how does the body feel? As you inhale, how does the body feel? Can you feel how those full lungs Put a little more pressure on some muscles, maybe a little more pressure on the spine. Observing consciousness. And then we're going to push it back into a cat. Hands can move back a little farther. Come back into a rounded spine. Hands and knees, head and tailbone down, belly and spine up. Try to really let your head drop down here. And then again, we're going to move it back into a Sphinx pose. Lower down onto one forearm and elbow, and then the other. And ease your knees back. Walk your legs back once you're down. Find your way into that Sphinx. If you can come a little deeper this time into seal pose, you're going to turn your fingertips out towards the corners of the mat. Press into your hands and try to straighten your arms. Still letting that whole lower body relax. Breathe. And observe if you're pushing a little too far. And then lower back down. Coming back into a cat. Head and tailbone down, belly and spine up. Really let the head drop down. And then bring it back into a child's pose. Let your head come down. Observe how you are now. If it's shifted at all. And then we're coming into a thread the needle. Come up onto hands and knees again. We're going to bring the right arm underneath the left palm up, slide that arm out, bringing the right shoulder down. What did I say? Right arm underneath your left? I hope that's what I said. So, the left hand can be anywhere. You can stretch it forward towards the top edge of your mat. If you like to bring that arm up, you can do that. Maybe hand comes to your low back. Pay attention to how your neck is. Breathing out from the shoulder. So as you exhale, let those shoulder muscles relax and soften. And then use this left hand to press into the floor. Slide that right arm out. Come back into a cat pose. This time we're going to take it into a dog pose. So now we're letting the spine drop down towards the floor. Drop it down between your shoulder blades. And then lift the head and the chest up very gently. Still paying attention to how you are today. How are you in this moment? All right, then curl your toes under so we can just do a quick down dog. Let your head drop down. Let your heels drop down. Big breath. And then knees come back to the floor. Coming in to thread the needle. Left arm underneath the right, palm up. Slide that hand out. Bring the left shoulder down. And then again, right arm. You can have that right hand in any place that feels appropriate. Breathe. Work on softening the muscles around that left shoulder blade. And then we're going to bring it back to center. You can press into your right hand, bring that left hand back. We're going to round it into a cat. Drop the spine down into a dog. So spine down towards the floor, dropping it between the shoulder blades. Head and chest lift up. And then curl toes under. Come back into a downward facing dog. Walk your feet towards your hands. Come into a standing fold. Knees can bend. Your legs can be straight. Feet could be wider. They could move out towards the edges of the mat. Let your back soften and lengthen. And then come on down into a seated position. Ease your way down onto the floor. Bring your feet together for butterfly pose. Soles of the feet together. Nice full inhale. Alright, so we're doing this rounding motion with the spine. I'm just going to fold in. Let the head come down. And where's your spot today? Those of you who have blocks, if you like blocks, pillows, two blocks. So depending on where you are in the pose, if you're getting low enough, now you may not be even close enough to get your head onto a block, but if you're low enough, sometimes just having the head rest on something can help you to let go a little bit more, can create deeper benefit to letting, to help you to let go. You can also, if you have two blocks, you can build yourself a little tower. So much benefit to taking it slow. Now, if you're really stressed, it's just very hard to be slow. So you can begin with a faster paced practice and work on slowing it down. Which is, again, just another way of how are you going to adapt your practice to where you are in this moment. All right, inhale up. We're going to take feet out wide. And we're all just naturally different. Some people have tons of energy. Some people don't. I am definitely not a high energy person. Never have been. All right, so feet are out wide. So again, you're going to adapt to what your natural constitution is. Feet out wide, we're going to fold over the right leg. Just ease your way over here. Giving yourself a couple minutes just to be quiet and still. So that might be, just beginning with 1 or 2 poses that are slow. Might be 1 or 2 minutes of silence to work on a meditation practice. Come on up. We're going to take it over to the left leg. So just lift yourself up first. Take a breath. So we're allowing that little pause in between sides just to calm the minds, right? So we're not like, oh, I'm going from this side to this side, which is often our natural instinct, right? I've got to hurry up, get to that next side. Just allow that little moment, almost like a little meditative moment in here. Let your mind and your nervous system calm down, right? We're sort of in shifting from, okay, we're on that leg, recenter, move to the left leg. All right, so we're going to fold in over the left leg. And then where are you going on this side? What's happening here in this moment on this side? It may be very different from the other side. It can be different because of skeletal differences. It can be different because of muscular differences. Could be different because of injuries, surgeries, all kinds of things. So it does us no good to think that we should be in a certain place. It only causes us more aggravation. Let's try to just be here in this moment. And then we're going to work our way up. Slow and easy. Good. Alright, take another big breath. Move your head around a little bit. Turn it from side to side. See what's going on in the neck and the shoulders now. Circle your shoulders around. Let it be a little free form. Not taking it too seriously. It's going to feel good for you. Alright, let's do a twist. You can do this with your legs straight. I'm going to do mine with legs crossed. You can also do it with both knees going over to one side, so your feet are together, both knees are leaning. You can twist that way. My preferred seated twist is usually with legs crossed. And then depending on how far apart your knees are. So if your hips are a little tighter, your knees are a little closer together, bringing this left hand over to your right leg is a little bit easier because your knees are a little closer together, you're not reaching so far. If your hips are loose and your knees are now farther apart, reaching across can now sometimes be a little more stressful. So again, don't get hooked into this like, oh, I have to bring my hand over here. Is that working for you or is it not working for you? Is it causing you more stress that way? All right, so right hand behind you, whether you've got your legs out straight or you've got crossed legs, right hand behind you. We want to lift up the spine. So again, when you're trying to reach this arm over so far, then a lot of times you're really compressing the chest and the rib cage, so you can't really breathe as easily. You're not getting as much opening. Sometimes it's better, it's more beneficial to leave this left hand on the left leg so you can lift your chest up. You can rotate the spine. And take a breath. Trying to keep that abdomen soft. And letting your left shoulder blade drop downward. So a lot of times when we twist, that shoulder will come up. We're going to let it drop down. Big breath. And then come on back to center. We're going to take the left hand behind us, lengthen up the spine. And then what's happening on this side? Maybe you could reach your left hand across comfortably to the right leg. Maybe you're not on this side. Or it could be the other way around, right? So again, depending on how our bodies are structured, where there's some tightness, how your bones are put together, you may be able to turn more easily on one side than the other. Keep breathing. So with this exertion of, lifting up, twisting, trying to release that tension, but we want to also have softness, using your breath. So we're lifting up and then we're softening at the same time. Okay, back to center. Good. We're going to do cobbler's pose, soles of the feet together. A little bit different from butterfly. Butterfly, let me turn sideways. Butterfly, the feet are forward. And so we're starting to get a little more stretch in through the sacrum area, the back of the hips, the back of the pelvis. In cobbler's pose, we're pulling the feet in. And if your inner legs are tight, these feet are not going to come in super far. That's fine. You're just pulling them into what's a reasonably comfortable spot. Blocks are not my favorite thing to sit on, but they're handy. So if you're having trouble folding forward in the pose, a little something under the hips will help make it so you can tip forward a little more comfortably. But if you're don't have anything to sit on, and you're having a hard time leaning forward, then it's just hands behind you. Pull your shoulders back. If you can lean forward, we're just coming in. This is where also, if you're leaning forward, you could also have a block or two for your arms. And then we're going to try to relax wherever it's tight. Use the breath. Soften your shoulders. Relax the feet. And then come on up. And there may be days where you want to stay there, days where you only want to do like one breath of that, or days where it's just not a good pose for you to do. All right, take your feet out wide. We're going to fold straight down the middle this time. So feet wide, lift up the spine, and we're going to ease our way forward. Again, you can have blocks under your arms here. Have something under your hips to give you that little bit of elevation. Just reconnect with how you are. Leaning forward, we're going to walk it back up. And we're going to come back onto our backs, or out onto our backs. Lower on down. Take a big breath. Bring your arms overhead. Hips. We're going to do, we've done a little bit of inner hips. We're going to do reclining pigeon. This time we're going to do fallen pigeon. If you really prefer regular reclining pigeon, that's fine. Bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh. So if you're doing the fallen version, we're going to let the legs drop to the left, depending on where you're positioned. So that left knee can move farther away from your left shoulder, or you can bring the left knee higher. So if I bring the knee higher, then my foot will usually stay in place, my right foot. But if your foot's not staying in place where you have it, you can hold the foot. So again, we don't need to be super duper intense. Where is a good place for you to be? Something under your head might feel nice. If you're holding that left leg, if that's how you're going today, you feel like you need that spot there, you might still want something under your head to help your shoulders release out a little bit more. Breath. Soften abdomen, soften eyes. back to center. So if you're in this fallen pose, you can release the right leg. You can just start to bring this right foot up towards the ceiling and then rock back onto the sole of your left foot. If you were holding the leg, let that left foot come down. We're going to bring this right leg up. If you have a strap, you can do a strap around your foot here, which could be a belt, it could be a piece of rope, anything can go around your foot. If you don't have that, you're just going to hold the back of the leg, or if you can reach the foot. Having your head elevated brings your shoulders up a little bit, makes it a little easier to get hold of the foot. You can hold the outer edge of the foot, you can hold on to the big toe, or again, just anywhere on the back of the leg. If you feel like you can extend that left leg out along the floor, I'm just going to stretch it out, not overdoing. Breathe. So with each exhale, let the abdomen soften. And see if you can just relax the leg a little bit more. See if you can feel that sensation of the leg, like it's moving in a little closer to the body as you exhale, without pulling it anymore. If it will just soften in towards you a little bit more. We're going to gently bend this knee, let the right foot come down onto the floor and straighten the right leg out along the floor. Rock your hips from side to side, just kind of shaking out your legs. Big breath. Observe how your legs feel. Your feet back up onto the floor. Left side, or bring your left leg on top of your right thigh. And drop the legs to the right, or you can hold the back of the right leg. So again, maybe you're going to change where that, this hip is so much tighter. I'm trying to move my bottom leg and it's not really moving. So you might be able to move yours, and you can decide if your knee's going to be higher or lower. So I'm going to have to hold my foot here so it doesn't slide completely out of place. Good. Might need to back. I just had to back up a little bit when it was too intense. So find your spot. Breathe it out. So if you get this really tight spot like I do, maybe the breath is going to be a little bit deeper to prevent this muscle, these tight muscles, from locking down a little bit more. We want them to loosen up. Keep your face and your abdomen soft. And then we're going to release. So again, if you're in the fallen pose, oh my god, I can barely release this leg. Alright, so if you're like me, you may have to go super slow. I'm just going to extend this left leg out to the side. And then slowly bring it up into the air. And then the sole of the right foot's coming onto the floor. So left leg's up. I'm feeling like I don't even want to reach for the leg here. I can already feel the tightness in the leg. I can feel the stretch happening without even reaching for the leg. So another way that you can adapt it, right, is what's going on this side. Okay. And then sometimes if you reach for it, it's not quite as bad as you think it's going to be. But I'm going to keep my right foot on the floor, at least for a while. Maybe this will start to release out after a couple of breaths. You can extend your right leg out if you like. And then we'll work on that sensation of softening as you exhale. The abdomen softening, and then just notice if you can feel like that leg just moves in towards you, right? So that we're releasing out this tension. Then the leg just softens a little more towards the body without pulling it more firmly towards you. Just try to soften it towards you. And then left leg comes down. And stretch both legs out along the floor. Arms overhead. Notice how your legs feel now. Let's do a bridge pose. Walk your feet up onto the floor. If you have something under your head, pull it. So I want the head to be down on the floor. Arms can stay overhead. Walk your feet in. We're going to press the low back down. And gently bring the hips up. Find your spot. Again, maybe it's higher today, maybe it's lower. Hips pull out from shoulders. And then gently lower on down. Take a breath. If you like, knees pull in towards the chest. Hold the knees. Reach for your feet if you're going into heavy baby. And then feet separate. Shavasana. So we're going to let those feet come down. Find wherever your spot is. That might be kind of rolling to your side today. It could be just flat on your back. In a good place. Feel your breath. Just feel that rise and fall of the chest and the abdomen. Anything that's not completely comfortable, adjust a little bit. Head can turn to one side and then to the other. And then back to center. Let the whole face soften. Relax your fingers and your toes. If it helps to keep your mind focused, you can count each round of breath. Counting each exhale and inhale. So counting the exhale as the beginning of the breath. Counting the exhale and inhale as one round. Otherwise, just focus on the gentle movement of the body. The sensations of the breath flowing in and out. And with each breath, whether you're counting or not, and let the mind and the body relax. Observe how you are. Take a deeper breath. And just bend your knees. Let them drop to one side. Body roll on over to one side. Nice full breath. And then we're going to gently make our way up to seated. Come on into a cross-leg position. If that's not comfortable for you, legs out straight, feet wide. If you're sitting with crossed legs, the bottom leg, we're going to bring this on top. It can still be just in an easy pose, lower legs, ankles crossing. Or you can come into a half lotus. Bring that foot on top of the opposite thigh. Sit up tall. Hands at the heart. Nice full breath. Exhale it out. Thank you for being here. Namaste.